Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of We Ball. This is going to be the second episode of the preseason. And again, I'm going over all 30 teams, their preseason moves, who they acquired, who they let go, what I think we should expect of them coming forward to the season. And just my overall thoughts about the team and kind of grading them, A, B, C, D, whatever the case may be. That was not something I planned to happen, but first, we'll start off, go ahead and get it kicked off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I think that they won the offseason with signing Donovan Mitchell to their already established backcourt with Darius Garland. Now, I give them an A+ simply because they went and got a superstar at his young age and added him to their other up-and-coming superstar in Darius Garland. And I think that this team together, they will do big things. The tandem of Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, I think that they could go far. How far? Not sure. We'll have to wait and see. They're already a young team. So when you're adding another young guy and they can kind of mold together, they can grow together over the seasons and kind of figure out what it is, what kind of system that they want to use. They already have a young coach at that that can help them navigate this thing and kind of figure it out. Now, they did go ahead and get a couple veterans as well. Ricky Rubio, he was a free agent. He came over. Ricky played in Cleveland once before. I think he was on that LeBron James team as well. So he's been there a couple times. So I guess it's fair to say that Ricky loves Cleveland or he loves money, one of the two. Now, they also signed Robin Lopez. He's a center. So that's a good another pickup for them to have as a backup, but as a veteran, they can teach the younger guys, the younger centers, how they should kind of work it. Robin's been in the league for a long time. He actually came from Orlando. They signed another veteran guard in Raul Neto. He played for the Jazz once upon a time, but I guess just as a free agent, he decided Cleveland will be a best fit for him. Isaiah Mobley was drafted at 49. His brother plays for them already. As a center, and he's doing pretty good. Evan Mobley. I actually like him a lot. Long, he can shoot, he can dribble the ball. Most importantly, he knows how to rebound, and he knows where he has a great court awareness, like where the rim is, where he should be, things like that. Now, Cleveland gave up a little bit. Colin Sexton was one of their biggest drafts outside of LeBron. He ended up getting injured and he did not play that much. So they went ahead and basically just continued to develop around him. And then that led to Darius Garland getting the starting job from him. And we never really saw him come back from that. He was traded to the Jazz in that Donovan Mitchell trade. So was big man Lauri Markkanen. Now he can shoot. He reminds me of Kevin Love a lot. But I guess they said, hey, we already have Kevin Love, so we don't need another Kevin Love. So he was traded off to the Jazz as well. Moses Brown signed from the Clippers. He's another, I would say he's a forward. I wouldn't say he's a center. He is really, really tall, like he could be a center. But in my book, he a forward. But like I said, I give the Cavaliers an A+ in this offseason because it's rare that you get a young superstar that's moving anywhere. So for him to be on the move, not satisfied with the Jazz, and then you're able to go back door and kind of get them. You're able to get them at a young age to where you can kind of mold them up and build them up into a system. Now, the Jazz, they had an okay system, but honestly, they could never get over the hump. I don't know what it was, but they say it was a lot of issues between Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. I don't know, but that's just where the reports were. But either way, they're both in new homes to start the season off. So again, I give the Cleveland Cavaliers an A+, and I think that they won the offseason. Dallas Mavericks, the hometown Dallas Mavericks. I like the Dallas Mavericks. Big fan of Dallas Mavericks. I especially loved it when they were when Dirk was there, Jason Terry, like they won the championship for Dallas. So I definitely loved Dallas, and I still got love for Dallas. Of course, they got Luka the Don. They better watch out for him. They end up getting Christian Wood from the Rockets. He's listed as a power forward / center. So I'm thinking what they're doing here is still trying to play some small ball, but they're also They went and got JaVale McGee back as a free agent. He left the Suns and came over. They drafted Jaden Hardy at 37, re-signed Theo Pinson. Tyler Dorsey was a free agent. And they basically just said, okay, we're going to get a little bigger, get a little more inside game. But the inside guys that they have, JaVale can run the floor pretty good. And I also watched some of their training camp. JaVale was knocking down some threes. So we don't know if that's going to be integrated into the actual game. But just know he can hit them. So if they need to, he can step back behind the line and shoot it. But I mean, he's always been able to. I just think the systems that he was always in did not require him to. He's always just stay around the basket. You can pretty much dunk on anybody. You're taller than them. Do what you got to do. Now, they did lose Jalen Brunson to the New York Knicks, and that was something we all kind of expected. I mean, his dad is a coach of the New York Knicks. His dad's agent is a part of the Knicks, so why wouldn't he go? It was such a big deal that he ended up actually going to the Knicks that they looked into the Knicks for tampering. I mean, I don't understand how you can tamper when I'm talking to my dad, but they said that was tampering. So I don't know. They lost Sterling Brown to the Rockets, Trey Burke to the Rockets, Marquise Chris, Boban Marjanovic to the Rockets. And then Moses Wright, he just signed over in the China League. Now, the Rockets, I'm not sure what they're going to do with all those players, but we'll talk about them later. I can say that I'm not sure if the Mavericks really gained what they lost, but I can say that Jaden Hardy looks very good. But he is very young, so it's going to take him some time to adjust to the style of the NBA. But I hope that, I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie, he could help them a lot. He might have to move off coming from the sixth man. We just never know what they're going to actually do. So I give Dallas, I give them an A. I think that they went out and got what they needed. They didn't go out and try to create a team that does not fit their personnel. They went out and picked the guy, Christian Wood, who can pick and pop on the threes. As a center, he can, as a power forward, he can play the center. He can, stretch the floor with Maxi Kleber if he's going to do that. If Maxi's going to be the 5, whatever. They have options. They have the flexibility. So, again, I give the Dallas Mavericks an A. Next, the Denver Nuggets. Now, Denver, they loaded up. In my opinion, they loaded up. They got rid of Monte Morris, which was a smaller guard. Will Barton was like their shooting guard / forward. Brent Forbes was definitely a shooting guard. He could shoot pretty well. Austin Rivers and JaMychal Green. JaMychal Green went to the Thunder, but then he ended up on the Warriors. But they re-signed the Joker, the MVP. They ended up getting Bruce Brown. He was a free agent. He left Brooklyn. They ended up getting KCP from the Wizards, Ish Smith from the Wizards. They drafted a few guys. They even picked up DeAndre Jordan. So they kind of solidified themselves. And then, of course, they got back Jamal Murray, and then they got back Michael Porter Jr. Now, those are 2 starters that they didn't have all year last year that averaged 25 a game. So I don't expect Denver not to make noise. I think once those 2 guys get the NBA game under their legs, that they will be, I'm going to say top 3 in the West anyway. Because you have the MVP of last season, and then you add Michael Porter Jr., which he's a great small forward, but can shoot really well. And then you get Jamal Murray back. That is your star point guard. And then, of course, they have Bones Highland on the bench. He is coming into his own. He is actually taking media by storm. Everyone loves him. I do, and I'm not even a fan of Denver. And, so I can completely understand why hometown Denver fans love him so much. I actually drafted him on my fantasy team. So I think that he can do a lot for me. So I give Denver actually, I'll say I give them an A as well. Simply because they got healthy. They got healthy and they added the pieces that they needed. And so they actually ended up getting DeAndre Jordan. They had DeMarcus Cousins. I'm not sure if he's still going to be there. I hope he is. Because like I said, I want to see everybody healthy. But they added more depth to the center spot. So Jokic doesn't have to do every single thing by himself. It looked like a one-man show last year for him, and ultimately I think that's why he got the MVP. And lastly, on today's show, we will talk about the Detroit Pistons. Now, Detroit, they're still, I think they can be a play-in team, but they got to figure it out as young guys because they have a ton of young talent. They did get a few older guys that could kind of help and coach them up, but we have to see what they can do because they had the number 1 draft pick in Cade Cunningham. He went there. He had a decent season last year. So we have to see what they can do with the new additions that they had. They drafted Jaden Ivey at 5, Jalen Durant at 13. They got Alec Burks from the Knicks, which he had a great season last year too. They got Nerlens Noel from the Knicks. They got Kemba Walker from the Knicks. They also re-signed Marvin Bagley III, and then they got Kevin Knox. He used to play for the Knicks. So they have a lot of young talent with the equal pairing of veteran talent. Now, Kemba Walker, he will not be there from the reports that I've read. I guess he just doesn't want to play there. I'm not sure. I don't know the guy. So I'm just saying what I read, that he won't be there because Detroit actually, he either doesn't want to play for Detroit because of the state of the team. They're rebuilding. Everybody knows that. And on top of that, New York says, hey, we're rebuilding. We don't need a veteran point guard. But my question would be, well, why did you trade for him? But also on the other side, I mean, you kind of got to take him if the other team will agree to the trade. So those things happen all the time. They trade for a guy that they don't necessarily want, but they get the other guys that they want too. So they just take them and then they make an agreement with them, say, hey, you can go, we'll pay you, we'll buy you out of your contract, and then you can go do whatever you want, go find another team, go to China, go overseas, wherever you want to go. You just can't stay here. That's all that means. Now, Detroit did lose Jeremy Grant to the Blazers. That's where he wanted to go. Damian Lillard was like, hey, I need somebody. That's where the Blazers was like, we want him. And so they got him. A lot of people were trying to get Jeremy Grant. Now, we'll see if that pays off, and we'll talk about Portland late in the series because, of course, they are Portland. So they're the P's. So we'll talk about them later. Overall, I will say I give Detroit an A because they drafted great. They drafted great, along with the young guys that they already have. They have a ton of young guys that are ready to ball. It kind of, for me, it seems like the younger these teams get, the playing field will kind of even out because you won't have the LeBrons, Steph Currys, and Kevin Durant eventually. But in the meantime, you will, so that'll help them kind of speed up. But the younger guys that come in will be playing, kind of the same speed because every single year the game gets faster and faster and faster and faster. Every year you see the number of possessions in a basketball game like go crazy. Like, I don't understand why they shoot 70 3-pointers in a basketball game between both teams. I don't understand it. And I love shooting threes, but that's just the way of the game. And you gotta love the game for the game. Now, unfortunately, people say, well, the game was ruined or it shouldn't be this, it shouldn't be that. I mean, that's just where we are now. You got to appreciate it. I mean, it's still basketball, I can't say it does grind my gears when they're on a fast break and it's 3-on-2 and the person who gets the ball pulls up for a 3. I'm just like, boy, we'd have got sat out so quick. But it's just the way the game has changed. So again, I give Detroit an A, and I hope that they are able to have a good year. Like I said, I think that they can make the play-in. I honestly do. I think that they can make the play-in tournament, and especially since they're in the East. But again, the East is not the Eastern Conference anymore, like they used to call it. So they'll actually have to try something different. But that's really all I have for you. And let me know what you think about any of these teams in the comments. Again, opening night is Tuesday, the 18th, 7:30 Eastern time will be the 76ers versus the Celtics. And then late night, we'll have the Lakers versus the Warriors at 10 Eastern time. Again, my name is Tay. I'm your host, and I hope you enjoy this show. You guys have a good evening.